I'm Andy Adams, editor of Canadian Yachting magazine, and with me is Mike Varga, who's with Navionics. He's about to tell us all about the B&G Electronics suite of sailing products.
Hello, I'm Mike Varga with Navico, and I'm here today to talk to you about the B&G brand and what we're doing in sailing navigation. And so I'm going to talk to you about a couple of products today that are new and that kind of are state of the art for sailing navigation. Okay, this is the B&Z Zeus Touch multifunction display. So it's essentially a chart plotter where you can add options like radar and autopilot and instrumentation to it. And what you're looking at is the main chart plotter presentation mode right now. Again, since we're focused on sailing in the B&G brand, we're the only major brand that makes a chart plotter specifically for sailing. And there's a couple of things that we do differently. And you can see them on this page to start with. One of them is ley lines. So you can see we're sailing off of North Carolina here. It's obviously a simulator. This is our boat, and sailing along, and you can see if you're just sailing your optimal wind angle, you'd be sailing on the green line. You know, when you tack a boat, you tack across the wind, and you could then, you see basically on this red line where you would be heading if you tack through the wind. I'm going to go ahead and change that to a different setting here. I'm going to go ahead and put the chart in heading up mode, right, instead of north up, just to make the demonstration a little bit easier. So you can see my wind is coming from this direction. Now let's go ahead and say we're going to race, and we're going to go up to that mark. If I just tap on that mark, it's going to bring up my mark information, but I want to sail to that mark. And now what it's going to do is with the ley lines, you can see it's drawn a box for me. And this is really sophisticated stuff. So this really helps the sailor. I'm sailing along, and it's telling me that I can go all the way into this ley line for the mark before I have to tack. So one of the things that's, whether you're a club racer or a Grand Prix racer or even somebody trying to get around a headland, when you're sailing, it's always it's a sophisticated information to figure out where it's safe to tack. And this is basically doing it for you. And you see there's actually a couple of lines, and you see them moving around a little bit, and that's because as the wind shifts, the ley line shifts. So it's giving you the safe option. You can tack on the ley line up here, or the more aggressive option based on where the wind is shifted over history. It's a pretty smart it's a pretty smart feature that we've added to the chart plotter, again, specifically for sailors. The next thing we do is I'm going to show you a separate screen here where we go and we combine that with what we call sail steer. So we've made that presentation even easier to understand. So again, here on the chart, you can see your boat, you can see our angle that we're sailing and our ley line, and over here we've made that even easier. So here's the wind, where the blue true wind angle is. You can see that our ley line is here, this green line, that's our tacking line, and the range based on the wind shift. So you get a lot of information. We call this sail steer. It tells you basically how to drive the boat the fastest upwind or the safest upwind. And the last thing I'm going to show you is something we call sail time. Now, if you're a power boater, on most chart plotters, I can calculate the time it would take me to get to this mark. And the way that you're going to do that is it just takes the distance to the mark and the speed of the boat, and it gives you the time to get there. Well, sailors don't go straight to the mark. As you can tell, they sail upwind to the ley lines. So if I was to go to my data bar here, I can go ahead and put very specific information that helps sailors. I can go ahead and calculate really pretty important information like time to the ley line, distance to the ley line, sailing time to the waypoint, so that's including the tacking, and sailing distance to the waypoint, and what time I'll get to that waypoint. So again, whether you're a cruiser or a racer, it's doing a lot of sophisticated calculations, and it's allowing you to do that easy and in a pretty nice manner.
Very cool.
So we call that sail time. So there's ley lines, sail steer, and sail time. And those are the three specific things that we do that nobody else does for sailors with a chart plotter.